Welcome back, casual gardeners. Today we're kind of taking it easy. I'm just going to show you around my garden and show you what's up here in my Zone 6 garden, and then we're going to revitalize some soil in a hanging planter and put some flowers in it. So I am going to put today's date right here. Just normally it's not important, but since this is kind of a garden update, it might be helpful for you to know what's going on here in Zone 6 in Utah, just to give you an idea of timing. So for example, right now we do still have some lilacs in bloom. I know in some climates the lilacs are already long done. So first of all, I'm very proud of how this bed has been doing. I've already harvested lettuce and spinach twice. As you can see, they're growing very well. When I harvest, I don't pick the whole plant, I just pull the outer leaves off. Say this one, for example, is ready to go. And then the plants are staying in the ground and continuing to produce for me. It saves me having to do more planting than I'd like to. Next to them, we have radishes, and they're pretty rad. They're pretty rad. In fact, look at this radish right here. They are gorgeous. I can start picking these and enjoying them in my salads. You can see that the garlic I planted last fall is coming along well. Remember, if you're growing garlic, that you cannot allow weeds with your garlic. I'm usually not super immaculate about my weeding, but if you're growing garlic or onions, the presence of weeds will cause your alliums to want to grow taller instead of bulbing up, and they will reduce your bulb size. So it's especially important to apply some sort of mulch with your allium and to check them regularly for weeds and pull those out. So in this bed, I've got my kohlrabi. It's growing really, really well. I love that it's had this head start this season because it is going to be another rough grasshopper year here in the Cache Valley. In front of the kohlrabi, you can just see the onions that I started from seed. They are starting to bulk up. It looks like I should have fertilized them more while I had them in the greenhouse. We'll see how they do. Now in this bed, we have the onions that I started from sets and not from seeds to see which would do better. So far, the sets are winning. They're looking really good. They're about the same height as the ones I started quite a bit earlier from seed. You can see in this bed that my fava beans are coming along nicely. I'm very excited to be growing them for the first time this year. Peas are starting to climb my trellises, and over here the beets are going pretty slow. I'm wondering if I might have chosen a bad location for them. We'll find out later. You can see that right now the bulb flowers, my tulips and daffodils, have really shown up in the garden. They're a big focal point of one of my perennial flower beds. They will be overtaken later by some phlox, and I'm also going to wedge in some zinnias and marigolds to really just make this area pop and attract a lot of good pollinators and predatory insects to my garden. In front of me, it's mostly columbine right now, and a few of them are about to flower, but they aren't quite there. I'm very excited for that because columbine is just a truly beautiful plant. So far, that's all that's happening in my garden. The tomatoes and peppers are still in the greenhouse because there are still some pretty steep drops in nighttime temperature that are happening. Next Tuesday, the temperature is expected to drop down to 36 degrees Fahrenheit here in Cache Valley, and that is just a little bit above freezing. It probably wouldn't kill them, but it would definitely cold shock them and set them back quite a bit. I don't want to be moving those out of the greenhouse yet. Things are getting pretty crowded in there, and you will see that when we go inside. I just thought I'd show you really quick what I've got in my greenhouse. These ice plants right here that could go out really at any time. They should be hardy down to whatever cold temperatures we're going to get from now on. I think they look gorgeous. These are going to go in some planters on my patio. All right, the sweet alyssum here is really wishing it could go outside, so hopefully soon. Same for these nasturtiums. I am keeping them fertilized with liquid fertilizer every time I water to kind of kind of keep them okay. Got some overgrown basil here, ready to go outside. Got all of these tomatoes. These are some GMO purple tomatoes. I've still got 7 of them that I need to give away. Got some zinnias behind them and some marigolds. Got a bunch of pepper plants here, some of which are starting to try to bloom. Got a whole lot of tomato plants. I'm going to have extras to give away. And you can see those big tree leaves over in the corner. Those are actually my avocado tree that I've moved out to the greenhouse because I got tired of moving it in and out as temperatures changed, and it should be able to handle any temperatures it gets here in the greenhouse. Oh, and here's this pineapple plant that I need to repot that I picked up at a Kroger food store. If you want to grow pineapples, I recommend a 5-gallon pot or larger. This is probably not going to produce a very big satisfying fruit because it started its life undersized, in an undersized container. Oh, here in this bench planter that I made, I've got a whole video about how to make one of these if you like it. I do have a tomato started, so I'm going to be growing greenhouse tomatoes, hopefully at least until Thanksgiving. You can see I've also got some nasturtiums and sweet alyssum in there, and a couple of random lettuce plants. But check this out. So you see what color these leaves are. Let's do a comparison to the same plant growing outside. It is a little paler, but it's not a lot paler. In the comments on an earlier video, one of my viewers told me that I shouldn't be growing lettuce in the greenhouse because it doesn't get enough UV light and it's not going to produce those amazing healthy anthocyanins that make their leaves so healthy. But as you can see, I am getting that anthocyanin, just not as much. And you know what? It's okay. It's still going to be delicious, healthy lettuce for me to eat. And I can start it a heck of a lot sooner in the greenhouse. I've got a couple of these hanging planters that I've set up on the sides of my patio apron, you know, where it does the stairs off thing. And they're actually plumbed into my patio drip irrigation system for convenience. I'm going to be taking these into the greenhouse and revitalizing the soil that I already have in here so that I can grow some more stuff without spending a bunch on new soil. And I'm going to show you how I do that and which plants I am choosing to drop in here. So if you're into that sort of thing, you're about to be thrilled. All right, so I've got a tray here just for utility. You'll see. And I'm going to grab one of my hanging planters. All right, so I'm going to want to start by scooping some of this into a separate container where it'll be easier to mix. I think a shovel might be handy for that. Oh, everywhere. It goes everywhere. I don't need to scoop all the soil out, but I'm going to scoop most of it out just to distribute the amendments pretty evenly in the top layer. A few inches of old soil left in the bottom, but that's not going to be very active soil, so it doesn't matter. Now, depending on what you're into and what you believe in, you're going to want to add some sort of macronutrient source. So I've got blood meal for the nitrogen, bone meal for the potassium and phosphorus, and, you know, calcium. But if you're a vegan, of course, you aren't going to want to be adding animal products like this. It might be better for you to go with a more synthetic fertilizer. And if you're organic, maybe you can do this. This is organic or something else. Maybe you just mix in a little bit of good high nutrient compost. But since these are hanging baskets, we will be losing most of these nutrients pretty quickly. So be prepared to fertilize somehow pretty regularly with a liquid fertilizer. I'm just going to mix this in a bit, just so it's not lumpy. So what I like about blood and bone meal is that it will break down slowly, so I can't burn any plants with it. but also it is going to be constantly, there's going to be more available for my plants over time, which is just a win-win in my estimation. Let's get this a little wet. It's nice to just have a little starting moisture in your mix for when you plop your plants in and water them in. The water will be absorbed more readily if you've kind of primed your soil a bit. All right, let's pour this in. I'm gonna have leftover soil, and that is okay. Now I think I'm gonna put some marigolds in the center of this because they're gonna grow vertically and they are amenable to container growing. Look at all those roots. He's crazy. You get down in there. And now, we'll be working some of these guys in. Calibrachoas, or million bells. They are going to do a really good job hanging out over the sides as they develop and fill in. I'm going to do a mix of colors just because I don't like everything being the same color. So I got some white ones here that will kind of be a nice contrast with the pink and yellow and orange. And look at that, I've got some pots now. We love pots. All right, now I'm going to take some of this leftover soil, use that to make sure everyone's packed in nicely up to the soil line. One reason I particularly like million bells is that you don't have to deadhead them, which is really nice. Now, these will be hanging out in the greenhouse until at least after next Tuesday when we're going to have our cold hit us again. So I'm going to want to water these every single day. Well, I'm not going to make you watch me do this twice, and not just because I'm running out of great room in my greenhouse, but here is a hanging basket ready to go. I don't think that hook is going to hold it though. I'm going to want to find an alternative solution here. Maybe just right there. All right. These pot hangers that came with the greenhouse, I think they're designed for smaller size pots, but I like a big pot. So if you're doing a Palram greenhouse system, maybe don't think you can hang a pot this big off a pot hanger this big. I don't think I'm going to be able to hang those in here. The pots are just too big, and my greenhouse is tiny and made of aluminum. If you have a real greenhouse, you're very lucky. So off screen, I'm going to do the same thing to this pot and probably just leave it right here. Thank you so much for joining me here in my greenhouse, in my garden, and hope you have a wonderful time in your own.